Hi, this is Charlie Edwards. Please subscribe to Sporting Icon for the latest boxing news.
So the post-fight review for Josh Warrington and Kid Galahad for the IBF World title. Now, of course, this was happening in Leeds, so this was obviously the home area for Josh Warrington, but it's still within Yorkshire. Kid Galahad from Sheffield, so again still in Yorkshire, so it's not like he's really got to travel and is really truly the away fighter, but he kind of is, especially with the support Josh Warrington has from Leeds. These guys are as mad for boxing as they are with football. The Leeds fans are absolutely fanatical, absolutely brilliant. Now this fight, now again, I wasn't sure about who was going to win this one. I did see it as a 50-50 fight. I was just about edging it with Kid Galahad, but there was a lot of things about Josh Warrington that I'm thinking, again, you know what, I've wrote him off twice before. Well, not wrote him off, but I predicted like Carl Frampton, Lee Selby to beat him. But in this fight, I wasn't too sure, but I know how good Kid Galahad is. I've seen many of his fights, and he's a very, very technically and a good fighter, but he's got quite heavy hands as well, which is something that Josh Warrington doesn't really have. Josh Warrington is full of heart, full of skill, but heavy-handed, not really. So this fight, listen, I think that the first 2 rounds is pretty much what, in my opinion, sealed it for Kid Galahad. In my opinion, he won those first 2 rounds. Josh Warrington was coming on like later on, but Kid Galahad, he would throw a punch, and whenever Josh Warrington tried to throw something back, he'd get tied up. So this was a tactic of Kid Galahad. Is it illegal? To a point, it's borderline illegal, but you do what you have to do to win the fight. But Josh Warrington didn't have too much answers for him. Don't get me wrong, he was landing some pretty good shots of his own at times, but Kid Galahad was the more effective fighter on the night, in my opinion. I think that Kid Galahad was showing a lot more in this fight and was controlling the distance. In fact, he controlled the fight, to be fair. And Josh Warrington didn't have too much for him other than just pure heart to just keep on fighting back. Now, obviously, I've seen like a lot of people saying that this was a robbery. As in Josh Warrington, he gets the win, so he retains his title. Was it home advantage? Whatever. But in my opinion, I think that Kid Galahad, he did win this fight. That's my honest opinion to it. But listen, there were a couple of swing rounds, so I wouldn't really argue with a draw, but I don't think that Josh Warrington won this fight. I think either Kid Galahad win or a draw would have been more fair, because as I said, there were like a couple of swing rounds. But I do feel that, in my opinion, maybe it was a case of Josh Warrington was not really up for this fight, because we know that he was talking about the likes of Oscar Valdez and Leo Santa Cruz, etc. So maybe this is what was on his mind. He didn't want to go through this fight. This was a mandatory that he just didn't want to take. But Kid Galahad was, obviously, listen, this was his opportunity. Now, I've seen Frank Warren after. Obviously, he was over there for Tyson Fury in Vegas, having like a little bit of a chat, saying how Josh Warrington, he won that one quite comfortably and whatever. Listen, he's going to say that that's his fighter. Frank Warren, being honest, come on now. He ain't going to be honest about his own fighters, is he, when they lose? But even Buddy Joe Saunders, a Frank Warren fighter, was saying that Kid Galahad won that fight. Yes, he is good friends with Kid Galahad. But as I said, for me, I think that Kid Galahad just did enough. Now, you see, I don't buy into this whole, when you go to a champion's backyard or when you fight a champion, you've got to do a bit more to win that belt. Listen, these are not the rules. The rules are, do you win more rounds than your opponent? If the answer is yes, then you win the fight. There is no champion gets a round or 2 head start. It doesn't work out that way. So I don't understand when Frank Warren and other people are saying, but Kid Galahad, he didn't go in there and rip the title away. Well, you shouldn't have to. Did he win more than 50% of those 12 rounds? If he did, then he should be champion. Okay, there is no advantage. There is no... there shouldn't be no advantage towards champion. It just shouldn't be that way. Otherwise, all champions would start with a round or 2 head start, which isn't right and isn't fair. So I don't understand why people say that. But for me, Kid Galahad, he done enough for this fight. Hopefully, he takes a lot of heart from this one. And listen, he probably knows that he won, but he was quite humble in defeat. He's not going to, he wasn't one throwing his toys out the pram saying, oh, I got robbed and then whatever. I've seen plenty of people saying that Kid Galahad got robbed. I don't know whether or not I'll call it a robbery, but certainly a victory for Kid Galahad, in my opinion, or at least a draw. But I do feel home advantage for Josh Warrington. Could be what swung it. As I said, I've only seen the fight once. I haven't seen it again to maybe change my mind. But in my opinion, Kid Galahad won this fight. He should be the champion. But listen, Kid Galahad, hopefully he will take heart and he will get himself in a position where he's going to fight for a world title again. Unfortunately, he's one of these kind of guys where not many people want to fight him because he's awkward. And of course, he has that one-time PED ban that he once went through. Was he innocent? Was he not? Who knows? But fact is, it is on his record, and fighters will look at that going, but I don't trust you. So is he going to get another opportunity? Well, he's going to have to force the opportunity, because in my opinion, no champion, no Oscar Valdez, no Leo Santa Cruz, no Gary Russell, or anybody else around that kind of level is going to give him a voluntary, in my opinion. He's going to have to force that situation by getting himself into a mandatory again. But anyway, Kid Galahad's got nothing to be ashamed of, nor is Josh Warrington. I think that Josh Warrington did very well in this fight, just not enough to win. And just because you walk to the ring as a champion, as I said, doesn't mean you get an automatic head start. I don't buy into this whole to rip the title away from a champion. I don't buy into that at all. That's not the rules. So anyway, you drop your thoughts below about this fight. Who do you think won? Did you enjoy the fight? For me, listen, I enjoyed it. I know a lot of people are saying, but it's too much of a hugging and too much holding of Kid Galahad. Listen, you know, he was kind of within the rules to a point. If it was really bad, the referee would have been deducting points off him. So anyway, it is what it is. So for me, I enjoyed it, and I wouldn't be against a rematch, but I don't think Josh Warrington is going to want to give him a rematch. I really don't. And nor will Frank Warren. Anyway, drop your thoughts below, click thumbs up, and of course subscribe. Catch you all on the next video.